Should be putting it on. Going to go officially live in a little less than 5 minutes. A little less than 5 minuto. Let's see here. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. A lot of fun stuff. We're going to talk about, we've had some questions about the fortune deck, or no, the adventure deck, and then we're also going to talk about the new scenario. Let's see. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. All right. We're calling that a sound check. Hola, amigos. Hola, amigos. Hello, hello, hello. So we'll talk about, for those of you, I don't want to talk about this because I'll end up talking about it again. Did get new adventure decks in just today, just like a few hours ago. So we'll start packing these up. Got another box of them sitting over there. So start packing up for those few folks that we ran out of, sold out completely on our first order. So did Chris Abbey in the UK, and he pre-ordered quite a bit for our UK players and EU players as well. So he sold out, and we'll have to get some more sent to him pretty quick. So he has decks on the way, and then also, doggone, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this because I'll end up talking about it all again. Has anybody played the new scenario? The new scenario of the month, the Horn of Eodor. What do you think it might be based on? Any guesses? Any guesses out there? I see a red misted Tucson. I see a David from Kyushu. See a Bob on here. Howdy, howdy, howdy. I see a Nay in the heat wave. Nay in the heat wave. 20 degrees. 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I should have some glasses around here. So I am Bessy-ness again tonight. I hope she might jump on. She's had a rough couple days, boys and girls. She has had a rough couple days this week. She had some work on her foot. And so that's still bothering her, still healing. And then today she had to drive over to Tahlequah and see her dentist over there. So she's been taking it from this way and that way. So it's been pretty rough on her. So she is trying to recover this evening. She's supposed to. Hey, Carl Floyd is on here. Thank you so much, DW. Clyde Dashing, very cool. We'll go officially live at a little less than uno minuto. Everybody synchronize your watches at 10 seconds now. Neil Morgan, thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna find my glasses. No, I don't have them. I don't have them over here. Bessy, are they next door? I'll just have to do a lot of squinting. William Schmidt-Motson, very nice. Pretty sure my dog just sat down in front of me and farted. Very nice. Hey, it's 8 o'clock. That's what I'm supposed to say. Something along the lines of just got a huge shipment from Hinterland Minis. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I love those old figures. Yeah, those are lovely. Those are lovely. Can't remember all the name of the sculptor off the top of my head, but fairly prolific and well-known sculptor did those. Does a lot of historical stuff. Steve Stratton, is that you out there in San Bruno? Awesome, awesome. Maybe that's Steve Stratton. I don't know. Steve Stratton's been a Pulp Alley player since before there was a Pulp Alley, if I remember right. Indeed, he says. He's been playing Pulp Alley since before there was such a thing. Ptolemicus in Pennsylvania, Vernjeski. Very nice. Dennis Cross, very cool. So, I want to jump into a couple questions and talk about a few things about the adventure deck, and then I also want to talk about the new scenario, Horn of Eodor. You guys let me know where you think, what sort of flavor did that give you? But you could also, if you don't have, Randy Wendell on here, thank you so much. So if you don't have like Dark Ages, I'll just say, sort of figures that might be kind of what inspires you in that scenario, and it does have pictures of some figures there in the scenario. You could just as easily do it with 1930s miniatures. You could just as easily do it during World War II or during the Cold War. You could really do it in all kinds of stuff. Ha! Yahoo Group days and before. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's going back a ways right there. Yeah. I don't remember what even happened to the Yahoo Group. I think I accidentally deleted most of those things. First, I want to talk. We're going to go over the Horn of Eodor and some of the special rules and try to answer some of the questions that we've got. But first, I want to talk about the adventure deck and how that it's supposed to be used. And this may seem like a facetious answer, but it really isn't. The adventure deck, these are scenario cards, and they're intended to be used the way they say to use them. So in general, what that means, and that's not supposed to be a facetious answer, it really is, because whenever you use scenario cards in a scenario, there will be 9 out of 10 times there will be special rules telling you how to use them, because they are a special rule. And not only is it done that way, it's done that way because we want them to be used in different ways. So right now, primarily, we are using them as plot points. So it would go a little bit something like this. When you approach a plot point, when you go up to a plot point, you would face the peril as normal. So currently that means you draw a peril, you defeat the peril. After you pass the peril, that's when you would, if the scenario cards are used, they would either be drawn randomly, or it could even be predetermined that that's the corrupt official there. So after you pass the peril, then you deal with the scenario card. So you do that instead of that determines the plot point. So rather than drawing another random card for the plot point, the scenario card tells you what the plot point is. And then it goes on to tell you what the reward is for passing it. So once again, that card would be attached to your character card once you passed it. just as if it was a plot point reward. So you would not draw a separate reward card. So that's how we're using them as plot points, and it's to give us a wider selection of variety. It gives us a little more story. It gives us a little more narrative. Now, you could just as easily do this at home as well. You could just as easily say, well, I'll just pick out 5 of those, and those will be my 5 plot points. Nothing wrong with that at all. The scenarios that we are designing throughout 2025 and going forward, really, and also going to be in the new Tomb of the Serpent book, they are based on these cards. So you very, very rarely just draw them at random from the whole deck. You will go through there and you'll pick out X, Y, and Z card to use specifically in a specific scenario. So now, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't use them for other things. These cards could just as easily be apparel. The corrupt official, if the reason we're not providing an exact rule of how you are supposed to use these cards every time is because we want them to be used in different ways. So you could just as easily say that the corrupt official is the peril. So then it tells you what you have to roll, and you could put that into a scenario. And then the plot point is the formal introduction. If you get past the corrupt official, then you could try, the plot point there could be named as well. So you see how you could do that? And there's a lot of cards in there that were created with an idea towards them being possibly perils as well. Suspicious stranger, that could be a peril. Menacing brute could be a peril. Talk fast, that could be a peril. Remarkable discovery. So just, there are different ways. They could be situations or events that occur during a scenario. So although right now we're just introducing them to mainly use them as plot points, so they do not replace the fortune deck. They do not replace the solo deck. They are used in addition to those. They really don't replace any of your card decks. They are just there to add more story and add more zhuzh to it all. So that's what. If you have any questions about the adventure deck, I think a lot of you that watch our live games on Sundays, you've been seeing the adventure deck in use because it's being used during our Sunday live games for the last couple months at least. We've been using it, using the scenario cards from out of the adventure deck in those scenarios. So that gives you an idea right there how they're supposed to be used, and they don't really replace, the other card decks. All right, so that's all I wanted to talk about. That I think. Blah blah. So they are scenario cards, So when scenario cards are included in a scenario, there will almost always be special rules about how to use it in that. Good, Kevin. I'm glad you mentioned that. That was a big one. And I haven't done it yet, so I got to do that. So everybody that ordered a deck, I have to go through and have Bessy send you the PDF. So if you purchased the deck, then we also want to make sure you get the free PDF version. So we'll be sending those to you shortly. Relative term around these parts, shortly. So we'll send you the PDF so you have a digital copy of the adventure deck as well. So, and that includes folks that are on here from the UK or the EU that ordered through Sally Forth in the UK. I did send him a copy of the PDF expressly for sharing with you guys as well. So like the Jeffrey Clarks and not maybe not Jeffrey Clark, but anyway, folks out there that busted, don't know what that is. Busted what? DFK. Oh, David from Kyushu. Because it's your fetish? Why am I fixated on the glasses? What glasses? What? We could choose how to use the adventure deck. How you dare you give us choices? Corrupt official really are apparel. Yeah, yeah. Dave, your glasses are at your 10 o'clock. Huh? Well, maybe my 2 o'clock? No, I think they're actually next door. I have these glasses, but these are my reading glasses. These are for so those are my reading glasses. I can't actually see anything with those. I can these are what I use for my magnifying glasses. So I use these for modeling and painting and stuff like that because I can't see anything otherwise. But so I have to wear different glasses. Okay. So now DW, we could say they're on his cap. Okay. So now let's look at Horn of Eodor and let's talk about capturing the thief. So when you play the Horn of Eodor, has anybody tried to play it out there? Horn of Eodor is scenario of the month number 49. And it includes a little short story. How about that? It includes, of course, the summary there, the title page. It's got the setup rules, and then it has the. Now, this is the relaunch of the Scenario of the Month series. So this is. We took a break for several years. I think the last time we did it may have been, 2021, something like that. So we have special rules here. So a couple things I really wanted to share with you guys about this, and you can at the start of the scenario you could choose secretly, especially if you're playing multiplayer, that you could choose secretly whether or not you are loyal to the king or you are on the traitor's side. So you can choose that secretly and record that, and then at the end of the scenario you can reveal it and say, ha ha, that's why that happened. So it actually becomes fairly obvious towards the end, though, as your behaviors kind of go, oh, okay, well that's why he's acting like that, because he's a traitor. But you can play this scenario hostile. You could do it full on versus. So each of the leagues are against each other, and that means you are enemies and you will fight each other. Potentially, you will fight each other if you choose to, but you can also play this scenario co-op. You can even do it co-op and be parts of different factions, because you could just say, let's do it co-op, but one person decides secretly to play a loyal side that's trying to save the kingdom or protect the king, and the other player wants to be a traitor, but they are still pretending to help each other. They're still playing it co-op, which means they cannot fight each other, Once you put that co-op tag on there, they are no longer enemies and they cannot fight each other, period. So if you want to play that gentleman's agreement sort of stuff and go, well, let's just play it versus, but we don't have to attack each other. Wink, wink, right? So anyway, you can play it co-op and still be on different sides. How about that? That's kind of a cool idea. But anyway, for the loyalist side, they really want to capture the thief so that they can force him to tell them what he did with the horn and possibly reveal who he was working for as well, his co-conspirators. And that's why capturing him is fairly important to the loyal side who want to defend the king. The traitor side do not want the thief to survive this mission, so they will be trying to kill the thief once they track him down and find him. They want to eliminate him so he will not be able to betray them. So a few things about the thief here. So one is when you fight the thief, and if you want to capture the thief, you must fight him. You must brawl him. So a brawl will occur. Let's say Blue Jerkin here comes up here and wants to try and capture the thief. Well, what he's going to do is he's going to roll his attack dice. Now, if this is the thief's first fight of the turn, then the thief will fight back full on. After his first fight each turn, the thief will start rolling to dodge. So we're going to say the guy in the red here is the thief. So this fella comes up and attacks. He gets 2 6s and a 5. Let's say the thief is fighting back. Okay, he got a 7. Okay, now in this situation, this is a really good example. So I cannot, my player character here cannot block this even if he wanted to. So that means one hit is getting through to my player character. For the I'm going to change it a little bit just to give you another example. If you rolled a 6, we'll say if it's a 6. The player character could still choose to block and get rid of that hit. Now, instead, in lieu of actually hitting him with those 2 hits, you have the option to try to subdue him. And to subdue him, you have to perform a plot point. So in this special rule for this scenario, where's my chair? That means you can do a fight and a plot point. And the reason you can do a fight and a plot point all in one activation is because the special rules for this scenario say you can. So in lieu of delivering these 2 hits, and it doesn't matter how many, even if it was just 1, in lieu of instead of delivering those hits, I can choose to resolve a plot point. And if I successfully resolve the plot point, it is the suspicious stranger card. So I do the peril as normal. If I pass the peril, 3 die 8. 3 die 8. I get 2 successes, an 8 and a 5. I get past the peril. That means I can attempt the plot point. For the plot point, it says roll 2 successes with cunning or might. Now I can try to do that as well. I got my 2 successes there. Wham, bam, the thief is captured. Look at that. Boom, boom. And that's how you capture the thief. Now, if I could not block the thief's attack and he delivers a hit, then that's going to get through and I'm going to take that hit, right? So in the example that I originally rolled, he rolled a 7 and I couldn't block it. So that hit is coming through to me regardless of what I choose to do. So if I choose to try to subdue him and capture him, I'm still taking the hit. I'm still going to take that hit from the thief because he's out for blood. He's trying to protect himself and get away. He's not trying to subdue. So he's fighting to kill you, or injure you or maim you or whatever. So the other option is that instead of delivering the hits, but you have that option. You could also say, well, you know what? I want to go ahead and weaken him a little bit because that might make it a little bit easier for the next person to come up and subdue him. So rather than you going all out and just trying to finish him at one time, you could try and go ahead and injure him because that could make it easier for the next character to move up and capture him, right? Because you have to at least be brawling him to subdue him, and you also have to get at least one hit in on him. And as long as you get one hit through, then you could say, instead of making him roll a health check, I'm going to try to subdue him, and that means you do it as a plot point, and then you go into the plot point sequence, all during the same activation. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, make sure you leave a comment. So again, if you're part of the traitor group, obviously you're not going to try to subdue him. You're just going to try to deliver the hits. And you could still pretend, you could still go, oh, well, I want to go ahead and just weaken him a little bit because it'll make it easier to capture him later. But once he goes down, you go into the regular rules. You can't attack him anymore. You can't subdue him. He could already be dead by the time he goes down. So you can't attack somebody that's already down. So he'll either recover and try to struggle back to his feet, or you'll have to, or he'll go out of action, and the traitor's side will actually win that scenario. Thief can certainly inflict hits on you. And then what he will try to do after his first fight each turn, then he will start trying to dodge away from you. And then if he gets a chance to activate, he's going to try to find a place to hide and go back into hiding. So this is also a stealth scenario because he is trying to hide. Even when he's initially placed on the board, he appears in hiding. So you're going to have to hunt him down. Resolve the hits against your character before trying to subdue. Yep. What you would do, yes. Yeah. I don't know. No, that's all relatively simultaneous. So you would not resolve the hits first, as the attacker's hits would be resolved. We normally have them roll their health checks first, but that would occur at the same time that you're getting hit if the hits are occurring. So one or the other is not technically occurring first there. Hits are delivered simultaneously. So you wouldn't resolve the hits on you first before resolving it. You would resolve, if you choose to do it as a plot point, then you resolve it as a plot point, and then you'll resolve your hits that if you took one kind of simultaneously. So that's just showing that maybe you get him trussed up, but he gets a last stab in on you and injures you, but it won't affect your skills there. Kind of game is this where you can't kick a guy? Oh, it's Bob. You're 100% incorrect on that. It is assumed that everybody is kicking everybody that's down. That's all good, clean fun. We know you're kicking people while they're down. That's just the expectation, right? Um, that's part of the roll. So when they roll at the end of the turn, maybe you're kicking them while they're down, worked out in your favor and you put them out of action. Maybe it didn't, and they were able to scramble back to their feet. Just like when you're watching like an MMA cage match, just because somebody goes down doesn't mean they're KO'd. Not at all. So we uh, we certainly assume that that the characters are doing whatever they're doing most of the time. So kicking people while they're down, perfectly acceptable. It just doesn't do anything because that's the expectation. Yes, absolutely. It is assumed that that is what you're doing at all times, that you're kicking everybody in the shins or can't read that. Purchase Blackguard. That would help. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Blackguard ability. Uh huh. Yep. Yep. Okay. Thief can inflict hits. Even if you don't, even if you choose not to inflict hits, the thief can still inflict hits on you. You get that choice to do the fight or the plot point. There's a special rule there that allows you to blocking hits. So you only need to get one hit through, one potential hit through to try to subdue him. So if you can block his hit, then you want to, right? If you have an extra hit there that you could use to block, there's no reason to just let him hit you. You block, you parry him, and then try to subdue him. So that's the expectation as well. We are playing a live game on Sunday. I have no idea at this point. We've been so busy with all the crazy rigmarole that I haven't really had a chance to figure anything out. But I really want to do the Nameless Ruins scenario. I have a new version that I'm working on, so hopefully I can get it finished up, very, very quickly so we can do the Nameless Ruins scenario on Sunday. And I think we have Scudfisher coming to play. Mike Ditchburn, I think, is coming to play with us on Sunday. All right, that's it for tonight. Yeah, give Bessy some well wishes. She's under a lot of medication, and can I name the ruins? Yes, yes, you can. Feel free, sir. Feel free to name the ruins. I don't know. We call them the nameless ruins. So at this point, they are unnamed. So you can always name them yourself later on. If you discover it, you get to name it. Ah, very nice. That is. Who's read that story, The Nameless Ruins? So a lot of the titles to scenarios and stuff come from movies or old serials or old pulp stories and stuff like that. So, Nameless Ruins is actually a short story, the title of a short story. You are correct, Bob. The name of the ruins is the Nameless Ruins. The Nameless Ruins. So that's how you know it's a proper name. It's capitalized in everything. Yeah. All right. More packaging going on to get stuff sent out. And that's it. That's all I got time for tonight. So big thank you to everybody that joined us tonight. Take a moment right now. Make sure you hit that like button for us. If you're not a subscriber, you ought to be. Get subscribed to our silly little channel. And that's it for tonight. Be sure and join us on Sunday for another fun video. We'll see you then. Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Bessy, doodle doot 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 doodle doot 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 doot.